Hi guys, we're going to go ahead and start this fishing sunset by drawing a line. You can use a straight edge and a pencil. I just use black acrylic paint to go ahead and start mine. I am adding some white. The sunset, I did want to put it a little bit higher up on the rock, not exactly centered, just slightly above the center. I am going in with some orange acrylic paint, and this is also mixed with some neon gouache, so that is why the color is so vivid. I'm also going to be putting down some teal gouache. It does glow under black light. And I'm also going to be going in with like a light cerulean blue. And the reason why I put white down beforehand is so that it makes it easier to blend and lighten up those colors so that it really makes it pop. I did go ahead and blend it down with a dry brush. I always keep extra dry brushes on hand while I am painting. I'm sorry, that's my son. I'm adding in a little bit, excuse me, sir. I'm adding in a little bit of yellow as well towards the center here, just because you do want that golden ray of the sun to be reflected on the water, in the sky, making it almost an aqua green, which is what is going to happen here when you blend the yellow in with the blue. I'm adding in a darker blue here towards the bottom, as well as going to add a little bit of just a tiny smidge of black. I'm going to be blending this out with a dry brush, adding in a little bit of water just until you get the right consistency. Blending with acrylic and gouache is the same technique for me always. I just add a little bit of water and I add a dry brush to go over the lines until they are smooth and you don't see none of those hard lines where the colors are blended in together. So I did add a little bit of that black down here at the bottom with the blue. Not a ton, just a little bit to kind of darken it up. I am going in with a fine liner brush. I'm just going to create where my sun is. It's not centered. It's off a little bit to the, just a slight smidge over to the left. And then I'm going to create this kind of triangle white image down here to show the reflection into the water. I am using a bright yellow color here and blending it back in with the white so that it gives off that golden sunset hue. I am blending it out with a soft brush and just tapping off the excess. That's the trick to blending with me with any type of medium that you want to use, because yes, I did hear about how not everybody has gouaches, not everybody has watercolors. Whatever medium you use, the techniques that I use are pretty much the same with any medium that I'm going to be painting with. Blending, the trick to blending for me has always been using water and has always been using a dry brush to kind of pat those colors out. So I'm just blending here until I get the lightness that I want. I was very impatient and I was not waiting for the yellow to dry, so I just kept bringing that yellow back out. But I do want a little bit of that white to show. I am going to go in with a little bit of yellow, a little bit of orange, and I am mixing white into these colors so that it creates a little bit of light in the water. And this is just some white with some light blue. Just creating some streaks across the water here. They don't have to be perfect. They don't have to be short. This is a lake. It's not an ocean. So the waves are not going to be small and choppy. They're going to be, you know, it's just a peaceful evening out on the lake. And I'm going to go over that black line one more time. I'm going to create a not straight line. I do want it to have, you know, sort of like a off in the distance mountain look. So I did raise the two edges over on the sides. And I did add a little bit of orange down here at the bottom just so that it's a reminder that you're still in the water looking out and the sunlight does reach all the way to you. Just kind of giving you a little bit of perception. I used a fine liner with black, but I am also showing you the liners that I use as well when I want really fine lines. This gel pen is from Wanda's Etsy shop, and I just go back and forth here trying to create the, I'm not even sure what this is called, like water grass. I'm sorry if I'm using the wrong term, but this is hold on just a second. Let me tell my son that I'm recording a video here. Okay, and that is my life with kids. I have to constantly stop and pause. What I'm doing is I'm just creating blades of grass. They're sticking up here towards this left-hand corner. Towards the right is where we're going to put our fisherman, so I don't want to completely cover that area up. Here, I'm just creating some of the little wispies off of the grass. Looks like a little bit like wheat, I guess. And I'm just using the brush and the fine liner, mostly because I wanted different variations of sizes, and sometimes the fine liner does not give me those super duper skinny thin lines. Here we're gonna put a little bit of grass. I'm just doing this by creating short strokes to kind of put grass here, put grass there. It's sticking up out of the lake and pushing it back a little bit more. They're very, very short, tiny, like almost like you're scratching at the rock. I am putting a little bit of line out here. Sorry that the table was moving so much. I have no control over the stand. And then what I'm also going to do here is I'm going to start drawing out my little fisherman. I did a little circle for the head, bring out the shoulders in a little under U shape. I'm a little bit sad that you can't even see because of the glare. I did put his pole out. The fishing line that's going out, it's not a perfect straight dark line, because when you look at a fishing line, it does kind of look like it's missing a little bit of parts since it's so thin and it's so sparkly. And I'm gonna bring some tree branches out here. And then what I'm also going to do is get a scraggly brush, and I'm gonna get a little bit of black and just tap in from the top. Excuse me, sir. I'm gonna tap in from the top here to create a little bit of like a, you know, tree look up here. I can't even think this morning while I'm trying to do this voiceover. Just gonna tap down here and over here as well. You don't want to go heavy with the paint because you don't want it to look like a blob. You don't want to use a straight, like, nice brush. You want it to be scruffy. And scruffy brushes, I've explained this before, it's just brushes that are, you know, a little bit uglier. They have a little bit of texture and they help to create those trees. So I'm just adding a little bit of branches here. And a little bit of the fisherman. Also, I forgot to mention that I did add the legs in there. And just kind of his arm, you know, sticking out. And I'm also going to add some ripples to the water just to show where the fishing line is going in. I am going to go ahead and go in with some watercolors. I'm using my water dropper to go ahead and let it sit. And I am also going to be adding some shimmer around. You can use glitter. You can use glitterific. Okay, the second time I've had to stop my video to try to get my kids to be quiet a little bit. I'm using some of the pastel colors that Wanda just came out, the Sherbet Kisses. I'm using orange, I'm using yellow, and I'm also going to go in with some gold and kind of just, you know, dab it in. You can highlight the trees. If you don't have watercolors, again, you can use glitter. You can use just some white mixed in with some gold paint if you have it, and just kind of highlight the light coming through the tree branches through there by just dabbing in little spots here and there on the tree branches. Gonna highlight the water going, the sunlight going into the water. And I'm also gonna highlight some of these grass blades as well. Some of the branches over here just to make them pop out a little bit more. And I'm gonna highlight my fisherman, and I'm going in with a dry brush to kind of blend that out a little bit. Gonna add some orange, and I'm also gonna add some blue. If you don't have these watercolors, they're super affordable, like $10 for just the sampler card on Wanda's Etsy shop. I love that hers are affordable and the pigments are great. And just gonna add some highlights to the water. Let me know if you guys try this out.